This orca suddenly grabbed the diver. Then, 5 minutes later, everyone was stunned by what they saw. Ethan loved diving and snorkeling, which was really great since he was a marine biologist. He had dived many times for work, but each time was something new and special. When Ethan and his team went out to sea one day, they had no idea that it would be the most memorable and at the same time frightening day of their lives. The boat stopped some distance from the reef, and Ethan and another diver set out to explore. They saw many animals because the visibility that day was excellent. They needed to collect some data, and everything was going well. They were focused on their work, but at the same time, the divers didn't want to miss the wonderful opportunity to observe wildlife as they swam by. They were close to areas known for orca habitation, so there was nothing strange about them swimming in deep waters. These creatures were beautiful. They are called the fierce hunters of the marine world and always please the eye. But one of them was behaving very strangely that day. Ethan's diving partner, Josh, had to return to the boat with samples. Ethan decided to swim in the depths and just observe the ocean. For him, as an experienced diver, diving alone wasn't a problem. But even the world's greatest expert can have difficulties. Orcas swam by, and then something incredible happened. One of them suddenly broke away and swam straight toward Ethan. It's always better to stay away from such a large wild animal. Although they weren't known for their gentleness, they were still huge. The animal could easily hurt a person if it accidentally collided with them. Usually, it was enough to just step aside to avoid them. But every time Ethan changed direction, the orca followed him. The orca swam close to him, and the man reached out his hand. He was petting the orca. It was an emotional and beautiful sight. But after a few seconds, the orca became more insistent. It was really strange. She used her fin and tried to sort of hide the diver underneath it. The man tried to move away, but the orca kept approaching. It was dangerous to get so close to a marine predator. Ethan tried to push the orca aside so it would pass by, but to no avail. It was getting a bit scary. Ethan was completely alone and needed to stay calm, or he might not make it out alive. Suddenly the orca started pushing Ethan with its nose, and despite the man being an excellent swimmer, he had no chance to resist. The orca pushed Ethan to the surface. The crew saw Ethan appear, and next to him appeared the orca, pushing him forward. But the crew was too far away to do anything else. After all, what can you do against an animal that can weigh about 6 tons? In a matter of seconds, everything changed, and something shocking happened before their eyes. Ethan had made hundreds of dives and seen many animals, including orcas, but now, for the first time in his life, he was scared. Worse, he became afraid of the animal he considered his favorite. The crew on the boat was in shock. The orca suddenly grabbed the diver and went underwater. People got into a small motorboat and rushed to where they had last seen Ethan. They didn't know what to do or how to act. They couldn't believe they had just witnessed a person being swallowed alive. A deathly silence hung over them. No one could have predicted this would happen, and they also didn't expect what would happen next. The crew returned to the boat, and everyone was extremely shocked to see that Ethan was on the boat. He was lying on his back and seemed out of breath and exhausted, but he was alive and completely unharmed. It turned out that the orca had been trying to push the diver toward the boat, but he hadn't understood this and therefore resisted. At that moment, the orca grabbed Ethan and dragged him underwater to control the person who wouldn't comply. The orca held the man gently, and since he was still wearing diving equipment, the person could breathe underwater. He really had to struggle to breathe steadily, but years of practice helped him do this, despite the horror he experienced inside. He had no idea that all this time he had been fighting the wrong animal. The orca released the person forward, then suddenly stopped and tried to hide him under her pectoral fin. Only then did Ethan understand what was happening. One of the largest tiger sharks the diver had ever seen swam out from behind the rocks. Seeing such a huge tiger shark alone meant big trouble. They are known for their aggressiveness, and this shark looked like it was looking for a fight. It kept circling around the orca, but its attention seemed to be focused on the person the orca was protecting. Ethan remained completely still. The orca had been trying to protect him from the start, and he had done everything to make it harder for her. The orca simply wanted the man to leave the area and return to his boat before he was attacked. It was incredible. It's known that orcas protect other marine creatures. They didn't often interact with humans in this way, but it made sense. They are incredibly intelligent creatures. The shark seemed to realize it couldn't get to the person, and it turned around and swam away. But Ethan's savior wasn't going to take any chances. Once he was safe, the orca put him back on her nose and pulled him back to the boat. The man patted her head and thanked her. As soon as he got out of the water, the orca left. It was incredible that a wild animal could have such a strong desire to protect a complete stranger. A week after this incredible incident, Ethan returned to the same place with a research group. To his surprise and joy, the same orca appeared next to the boat as if recognizing him. She playfully jumped out of the water and made characteristic clicks as if greeting an old friend. "Incredible," whispered Josh, watching this scene. "She remembers you." Ethan, with tears in his eyes, watched his savior. The research group noticed that this orca was part of a small family group, and by the distinctive markings on her dorsal fin, they were able to identify her. Ethan named her Grace, in honor of her amazing grace and kindness. In the following years, Grace regularly appeared in this area, and every time Ethan dove here, she accompanied him like a silent guardian angel. This story became not only an example of the amazing intelligence of marine mammals, but also evidence that true friendship can arise even between completely different creatures, overcoming barriers of species and languages. Ethan dedicated the following years of his career to studying the social behavior of orcas and their interactions with humans, and his incredible story inspired a new generation of marine biologists to protect these amazing creatures and their habitat. You know, Ethan often told his students, showing photos of Grace, sometimes the most important lessons in life we receive not from people, but from those who cannot speak our language, but whose heart is capable of incredible kindness and compassion. Did you enjoy this story? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to not miss new releases. See you soon.